Hey everybody, this is Mark with Circle of the Dark Mother. Today we're going to talk about altar construction. So some ideas for altar construction. First of all, altars are highly personal and very much dependent on the tradition you follow and what deities or entities you work with. Altars can be large or small. They can contain many items or very few. This sounds like the beginning of a joke, but the size of your altar isn't what's important. It's how useful it is for your path and magic. The other note is that the items on your altar do not need to be expensive. As long as an item works for you, it doesn't matter how expensive or rare it is. The other thing to note is that your altar can be a work in progress that changes and transforms as your path does. I construct my altars in a very specific way because it's the way I learned. I came from a Gnostic Kabbalistic tradition, and that's the starting point for me. I have veered from that somewhat, but that's sort of how I follow. You don't need to do that. That's my path, but I can give you some ideas based on the way I construct. So, first of all, the physical altar. Most people use a table for their altar. The table can be wood, glass, metal, or any other material. I've also used bookcases and other kinds of furniture. The only prerequisite is that there is a big enough surface to hold whatever items you need. I usually put an altar cloth on my altar made of fabric. I've used official altar cloths, bolts of material, tablecloths, basically anything that works. If you don't have room for a permanent altar, one possibility is to use some type of box that can contain the altar items and then be used as a temporary altar when needed. I just put an example of a box, but it doesn't have to be that fancy. You can even use a suitcase, just as long as your items inside of it are packed up nice so that they don't break. Basic altar items. Here are some of the most common altar items. Use whatever works for you and discount the rest. So a statue, picture, or other representation of the focus of your altar could be a deity, an entity, ancestors, etc. It can be a single image or multiple. A knife, athame, or other sharp object to represent the element of air, or in some traditions, it's fire. Wand or other pointed object to represent the element of fire, but in some other traditions, it's air. Cup or other vessel to hold liquid to represent the element of water. Pentacle or a flat circular item to represent the element of earth. For instance, I use agate a lot because usually those come in slices. Candles of various sizes, colors, etc. One candle is pretty necessary, but more is helpful. And then another thing that's often on an altar is an incense holder, some type of vessel to hold the burning incense. Some other items that may be included in your altar are skulls or bones. These can be representatives, such as crystal or rock, or they can be actual bones. A crystal ball, clear quartz, or another material, and this can be used for scrying. Flowers or other plants, black mirrors, or even regular mirrors for scrying or representing the door to other realities, crystals, stones, etc. Look up the meaning of each crystal or stone and use what works for you. Other images related to your intent. For instance, I sometimes use owls or serpents on my altars for Lilith. So, getting ready for a ritual. Once your altar is set up, even if it's temporary, it's a good practice to smudge and consecrate the altar. After I light the candles on the altar, I smudge. I use a lit stick of incense, which I moved around each item, making sure they are touched by the smoke. Once everything is smudged, I do a quick invocation of the deity. You can do an entity or an ancestor, whoever, asking them to come and consecrate the altar. Also to be dedicated to them and set for you to use. I then stand for a few minutes in front of the altar, feeling every item in my mind, in my spirit, and making sure that I've got a connection to them. And that completes the consecration. And you can then move forward with your ritual. So that's just some basics of altar crafting. And again, create what works for you, especially based on your tradition.